So the input system has a lot of cool features you can use. However, the documentation can sometimes be hard to understand or may not answer your question. And one thing I did not understand is pass-through versus value for your action type. And so I'm going to be explaining the different action types that are available for the input system action asset and what the difference is between them and why you might want to use one over the other. So as you may know, if you right click and create a new input action, and then you create your action map and your actions, on your newly created action, you have an action type, and there's 3 different types: value, button, and pass-through. So I'm going to explain all 3 of these in depth. However, in general, for value and pass-through, you have different control types that you can choose from. So for example, we select value or pass-through, we have a bunch of control types here: any, analog, axis, bone, digital, double, etc. And the one I use the most is vector 2 for movement and looking around. Whereas for button, you don't really have that option, it's just a button. And ideally you'd use this action type if you just want to know when a button has been pressed down. But before explaining value, button, or pass-through, I have to explain the different callbacks that the input system provides. So the input system is event-based, and that just means it sends out events for any type of input that you make while playing the game. So if I start pressing down, for example, on this button, the input system will send out an event that we have started to press down on this button, or we have pressed down on this button, and then we can subscribe to that event and get that value that's being transmitted. So if it weren't a button, maybe a vector 2, we can get that vector 2 value, and we can do something with it, whatever our game needs. So there's different event callbacks. Specifically, there are 4 phases: started, performed, cancelled are the big 3, and then waiting. So by default, every action has an interaction, and the interaction is just how you interact with the game. And so you can actually add new interactions. As you can see, it has a hold, press, and slow tap, and tap. However, every action has a default interaction, which basically tells you when these callbacks are getting sent out. So if we go with the default one, which is you're pressing down on the key or you're pressing down on the gamepad button, then that interaction has several stages. So in the started stage, this just means that the interaction has been started. So it has received some sort of input, but it's not complete. Then performed is the interaction is complete. So if we give an example, maybe we do the hold interaction. If we press down, it starts the interaction. However, it will not complete until it's held down for a specific period of time that you are specifying. And then there's cancelled, which means the interaction was interrupted or aborted. So for example, if you lift your finger before the hold is completed, meaning you lift it before the specific time that you set, then it is cancelled. And then there's waiting, which it just means that the interaction is waiting for input, that it's just on standby. And it's actually pretty complicated because depending on your action type, it influences when these event callbacks are called. And so this is going to be the important part for your use case. You're going to want to choose the action type that best match your use case and when you want these actions to be sent out. So with value, as you saw previously, you can choose between a bunch of different control types, vector 2, button, and the big thing about value is that it has this process called disambiguation. So let's say you have 2 controllers connected to your computer, and really the game only has one player playing it at all times. So you can assume that really only one controller will be the main one that will be held and interacted with. And so in this case, value would be a perfect choice because there's only going to be one main device, but it also gives you the option to switch to the other controller. So if this one suddenly isn't working as well, the player can switch to the other controller and that one will become the main device. So the disambiguation process basically determines which controller or which control device is the main one. So you want to use this one if you have different controls for an action, but you only want to take input from one at a time. And so how does it determine which one is the main one? Well, here's where the callbacks come into play. So let's say I'm on my controller and I'm moving my joystick. If I'm not moving my joystick, it's just waiting for input. However, the moment I start moving the joystick away from the center or its default value, then it automatically starts the event. So it's started. Now with value, however, not only does it start the event, but it also performs the event. the input changes. So every time the joystick is moved to a different location, the action is performed. So the first time when you move the joystick, it starts the action and it also performs the action. And it sends out those two callback events. And once you're done with the joystick and you lift your finger and it moves back to the center, it moves back to the default value, that's when the action is canceled. So this is a super important differentiation between value and pass-through, is that value performs disambiguation, while pass-through does not. Pass-through will get any input from any controller and will not do any processing on it. And I'll continue explaining that a little bit later. One more thing I want to mention is that value does an initial state check. Value is the only action type that does this. Neither button nor pass-through actions do this. Let's say an action is disabled, it's not reading input from anything, and you have it disabled so that even if you press the button, it shouldn't do anything. Now, when you enable it, what value does is it checks the control, and if the control is actuated, which basically just means it's not at the default value, or in the case of the joystick, it's not in the center, then the action will immediately be started or performed. So even if the joystick is not in the center and the action is enabled, it will still send out that perform callback. And so the difference is that button and pass-through do not have this, and if the joystick is not in the center per se, for pass-through at least, since pass-through is the only other one that you can use with a joystick, then you'll have to move the joystick in order for the pass-through to read the value. However, value will send out that callback once it's enabled if it's in its non-default position. And for button, for example, you'll have to lift your finger from the button and press it down again if you want it to be performed. Alright, so now I'm gonna explain button. And for button, you'll just want to use this for anything that only has one value, because it returns a float, 0 or 1. You won't want to use this for anything that's vector 2 or vector 3. It doesn't perform an initial state check like I just mentioned, as value does. And you want to use this for inputs that trigger an action once when they are pressed. You'll only want to have that performed action once it's pressed. You don't want the button to be performed every time you have your finger down. And what's interesting is that you can specify a press threshold. So if you add an extra interaction here, let's say you add a press interaction, you can add a threshold that basically determines once the user has pressed 0.5 of the way, so 50% of the way, then it will be performed. So if the user has started pressing the button and it's not yet at 0.5, it will send out the started callback for the button, but it will only send out a performed callback once it reaches the threshold. And it will only send that performed callback once, and not constantly like value does. And going back to the initial state check, you really wouldn't want to have this check because this happens when an action is enabled. And if an action is enabled and you have the button being pressed down, if it does have the initial state check, it'll perform that button. But usually with buttons, you'll want the user to lift their finger and press it down again, because that button might have been held down from a previous press before that action was enabled. Alright, and now for the last one, which is pass-through. The main difference between pass-through and value, they're very similar, except that pass-through does not use disambiguation, and it doesn't have a main control. So let's say the user has two controllers, and they just happen to be using both controllers at the same time, moving the same joystick. Then pass-through action type would send out two different events, one for the first joystick and one for the second joystick. Whereas value would only send out one event on that frame. It would just determine which one has the greatest magnitude and deem that as the main control. So pass-through is much simpler, it doesn't have as much processing to it, and you'd use this if you want to process all input from a set of controls. Now the interesting thing is, a pass-through action will not send out started or cancelled events. It will always send out performed events when the joystick value is moved. If you do want to have that started and cancelled callback with pass-through, then you'll have to add in an interaction. Only then when you add an interaction with pass-through, you can get those extra callbacks, because it makes it more clear to Unity that, okay, I have a hold interaction, so when I start to press down, that will start the interaction, and when I lift my finger, it will cancel the interaction. Otherwise, Unity will just report any change in value as performed. And of course, Passthrough does not have the initial state check, as value does, as I mentioned. So in most cases, you'll probably want to be using value if you have one player. However, if you don't want Unity to do the processing behind the action and you just want to get all of the information directly inputted to the controller or the device that's accepting input, then you can use the pass-through one. However, I've mostly used value. In my previous videos, I've used pass-through, and that was because I was not aware that the pass-through does not automatically send out the started and canceled callbacks. But if you are having an issue with your input, try changing it from pass-through to value or value to pass-through. Sometimes it actually fixes the input issues that you may be having. So yeah, I hope you found this video useful. It took quite some digging to get through the documentation for Unity to find this information. So if you appreciate it, be sure to like and subscribe. There's more information on interactions that I haven't gone over, but I feel like that should have its own dedicated video. So with that, I want to thank all of my patrons for the support. It helps make these videos possible, and we actually smashed one of the Patreon goals the other day, and patrons selected my next video, which will be a third-person character controller for shooter. So I'll be making a character controller that can aim and shoot with Cinemachine, and I'll also be using animations to animate the character. But I might split the video up, just because it might be too much to cover in one video. So I want to thank all my new patrons. In the supporter tier we have... Thank you so much. In the enthusiastic tier we have Rodrigo, Drunkfly, and Andrew. Thank you so much for the support. And in the dedicated tier we have Rayleigh47, Stefan Cooper, and Stefan. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it, and if you're interested, the link is in the description. I offer source code, early access to videos, and an exclusive Discord channel. And if you haven't already joined, be sure to join our Discord channel where you can chat, post memes, or ask any questions. So thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.